So I've got a player who's written in and they're feeling really anxious in front of goal. So I assume they've missed a couple of sitters, and then when they get back into that situation, they're feeling really anxious and it leads to them making a mistake again. And then after that, they're struggling to keep a positive mindset throughout the rest of the match. So we can really apply what I'm about to say to any position out on the pitch. It's basically how do you recover after making a mistake? How do you stop feeling really anxious when you're in the same situation again where you previously made a mistake? How do you move on from that and keep building and creating a good performance? So ultimately, for me, what it comes down to is focusing only on things that you can control. So if you think that you should have scored a goal and you don't score a goal, or you put pressure on yourself such as, I must score 3 goals today, these are things that you can't control because there's so many variables around them that you can't control. So when you have a strike on goal, which is obviously what you're going to do if you want to score a goal, when you have a strike at goal, you can't control what the goalkeeper's going to do or what the players around you, where they're going to be as well. So you shouldn't judge your level of success on how many goals you are scoring. You should judge it on other things which give you the best possible chance of scoring a goal. So I'm going to use goal scoring in this example. So what's going to give you the best opportunity of scoring a goal is having a good first touch into space, getting your head up just before you receive the ball so you can see your options of where you can push the ball into with your first touch, and getting a nice clean strike on the ball as well. And also making sure that when you do get the opportunity, when you do get the space on the ball, to make sure that you have a shot on goal, and again connecting with the ball in the right way so that you get a good strike on it and the direction that you want. And ultimately, after you do that, and also after you've found a position where you can receive the ball to have a strike at goal, all those things you can control. Once you've achieved that, the actual event of scoring a goal, you can't control that. So if you do miss an opportunity, try and sort of unravel it and think, okay, what did I do in the lead up and the build up to that attempt on goal? How was my first touch? Was I in a good pocket of space? And if you weren't for any of those things, make sure that you just keep a mental note of them quickly just during the match, or even if you're doing this in training as well. Especially if it happens more than once, make a mental note of it, and then after your training or match, actually write it down, and then you know you've got things you need to go and work on in the next week and 2 weeks after that, because that's the only way you're really going to build up your confidence in that situation, is getting yourself in training in that situation as many times as you possibly can, and putting yourself under pressure, making it as close to match intensity as possible, and just doing rep after rep after rep after rep. You'll make mistakes when you're practicing it, and then you can try and rectify those mistakes when you're doing this in your training. And then even that doesn't mean that in a match it's going to give you a 100% success rate. It's just going to increase your chances of having a high level of success in that situation. So try and think of it in that way. You ultimately only focus on things that you can control. Don't pay any attention to things that you can't control. And this might be different to what the rest of your teammates do, some of the things that they come out with, and even your coaches as well. So you just realise that you've got to probably think in a different way to how other players are thinking around you, because the best people, the players in terms of their mental resilience, are the ones which normally, they rise to the top. So if you can't mentally deal with a setback or making a mistake and recover from that, then it's probably going to keep you at the level that you're currently playing at. If you can have the mental resilience to deal with that and overcome it, and you're a good player and athlete, then that's going to help you, step up your level of game. What this also comes down to is your self-talk as well, and that can have a really big impact on how you feel after you make a mistake. So for example, if you had a shot on goal and you had loads of space around you, you're through one-on-one and you completely scuff it and it goes over the bar or wide, you might commonly, or a lot of players might commonly say to themselves just in their head, that was absolutely rubbish, okay? Or that was terrible, you're rubbish today. So think about that message that you're giving your brain. Is that really going to help you in the next time you're in that situation? Probably not. So you need to practice this, but what I'd like you to try and do instead is try and give yourself something actually clear and concise to work on. So let's say you're through one-on-one on goal, and you put it wide, and it's all down to because you took your eye off the ball when you were striking the ball, Okay, so instead of saying you're rubbish, say, right, eye on the ball, eye on the ball. So next time you're in that situation, okay, that's what your focus is on, and then that's going to give you a higher chance of success. Or if it's down to a bad first touch and you sky it over because you're sort of reaching for the ball when you're trying to strike it, okay, then the thing you want to say to yourself is, instead of I'm rubbish, okay, it's better first touch into space, watch the ball onto my foot. Those are the little messages. So that's going to be really positive and going to have a positive impact on the rest of your game. So think about the key word in each of those phrases. One of them is rubbish or terrible. Is that really going to be helpful? Okay, and the other one is into space or eye on the ball. Okay, so those are the things that are going to be going through you, and the things that you want to focus on. And don't overwhelm yourself with this. Just pick, as I normally say, a maximum of 3 things to focus on. And if you think, if you analyse your performance in the past and you're going into your next game and you've identified some things to work on, just make it 3 things maximum, and just keep focused on those 3 things during the game. And they're going to be 3 things which commonly occur. So, such as the quality of the strike you get on the ball. So the weight of your pass, that will come down to keeping your eye on the ball. Your first touch, again, that comes down to keeping your eye on the ball, making sure that you know where players are around you, so you know where the space is to push the ball into. And if you perform badly in those situations, because you can control those things, even if, and also if you're not finding yourself in space to receive the ball, that's all within your control. You need to make a note of these things, and then in training the next week, you need to work on those things. That's the only way you're going to improve. It's not just, you can't just leave it down to hope and luck that in the next time you're in a certain situation, it's not going to happen. You need to actually actively go and improve the things, break it down. What's actually going wrong in that situation? What's the real reason why you skied the ball over? Is it your first touch, the quality of your strike? Actually, narrow it down and go and work on those things in training, and then that will also increase your confidence as well. Okay, so we've got 2 things there: controllable goals, okay, and also your positive self-talk as well. And then I also want you to have this habit of hitting a reset button. So what some young players, in my experience, do when they make a mistake is they try and rectify it by doing the same thing again, hoping that they pull it off this time. And it might be something like a double step over or some sort of a Cruyff turn. And they try and do it again, and if they make the mistake again or give the ball away, then that anxiety continues to build, and before you know it, they're getting substituted, or body language is all over the place, and you can just tell that they're far from being on their A game. So have a reset button that you hit every time after you make a mistake. You do this thing and it just resets your mind. So for me, that used to be just next time you get the ball, it's a very simple pass. Even if it's just a 5-yard pass, you can do that easy, and then that's another thing that you've done successfully, and you can build on that. So try not to follow one mistake by overcomplicating something and then following it with another mistake. One mistake should be followed by something very simple, and then that will just reset you, help you relax, get calm again, and refocus on what you need to work on. So try not to really overthink this process. Just realise that there are things that are completely outside of your control, and there'll be a lot of people around you. Sorry, the camera's gone a bit dark there. There's a lot of people around you who won't be thinking in this way, so just realise that as well and appreciate that. It's not their fault. They're not doing anything wrong. It's just that you are actively within yourself going to be thinking in a different way, which is going to help you become more mentally resilient. So hit that reset button. If you hear an uncontrollable goal, just sort of acknowledge it, but realise that you're going to break that down into things that you can control to give you the highest chance of success in the situation that you're going to find yourself in. Okay, so hope this video helps. Hope I've been clear in the points that I've made there. If you did find this helps, please share it with a teammate or one of your coaches. And if you'd like to train with us, then hit one of the links above or below this video. You'll find one of the links there to check out our different training options. Okay, thanks so much for listening, and I will catch you in the next one.